हेलो अस्सलाम वालेकुम, आप देख रहे हैं रिएक्टर अली और मैं हूं अली हसन। वेलकम बैक टू अनदर रिएक्शन वीडियो। आज जो वीडियो का टाइटल है वो है 15 थिंग्स यू डिडंट नो अबाउट इंडिया। ऐसी 15 चीज़ें हैं जो मैं इंडिया के बारे में नहीं जानता। ऐसा हो सकता है, मैं पहले भी एक वीडियो बना चुका हूँ इंडिया के ऊपर जिसमें इंटरेस्टिंग फैक्ट्स अबाउट इंडिया थे। उसमें बहुत सारे फैक्ट्स थे वाकई में ऐसा जो मैं नहीं जानता था। और उसमें फेवरेट फैक्ट ये था कि इंडिया 6 बार कबड्डी के वर्ल्ड कप, 6 ही वर्ल्ड कप हुए और 6 के 6 इंडिया जीता है। उसके अलावा 1600 लैंग्वेजेस इंडिया में बोली जाती हैं, फिर भी कोई नेशनल लैंग्वेज नहीं है इंडिया की। खैर, इस वीडियो की तरफ चलते हैं। लेट्स फाइंड आउट कि ऐसे कौन से फैक्ट्स हैं। क्या मैं वाकई में ये 15 के 15 फैक्ट पहले नहीं जानता था? अगर नहीं जानता तो मेरे नॉलेज में इजाफा होगा। लेट्स फाइंड आउट। alex.com
15 things you didn't know about India. Welcome to alux.com, the place where
Alux.
future billionaires come to get inspired. Hello Aluxers, and welcome back to another fascinating video. Today we're looking at incredible facts you didn't know about the 7th largest country in the world, India. With a population of over 1 billion people, India is one of the most influential and powerful countries in the world. Its cultural history is particularly complex and detailed, spanning 4,500 years of predominantly Hindu philosophy and theology. Thousands of years later, modern India is profoundly different, with its own colossal film industry, a diverse population, and an astonishingly big workforce. Because alux.com is dedicated to becoming the world's best resource on the most interesting countries and destinations, we couldn't wait to bring you 15 things you didn't know about India. Number 1. Bollywood's highest-grossing film made 27 times more than Hollywood's highest-grossing film. For every 600 films Hollywood produces,
DDLJ तो नहीं है।
Bollywood will make 1,000. They're the most profitable films, too, when you compare the numbers. Hollywood's highest-grossing film was 2009's Avatar, which made $2.8 billion at the box office. In stark contrast, the Bollywood film Three Idiots brought in $76.81 billion. Now that's a profit. Number 2. Shampoo was invented in the 16th century, India. Derived from the Sanskrit shampoo, which means massage, the concept of shampooing was invented in India in the 16th century. Herbs and natural ingredients were used then rather than today's combination of modern chemicals and fragrances, in particular gooseberry, sapindus, and fruit pulp. When colonial visitors came to India, they brought the practice of shampooing and hair washing back with them to Europe. Number 3. Diamonds were first mined in India, and it was the world's greatest producer. India was the most productive diamond mining country in the world until diamonds were found in Brazil in the 18th century. There are now 3 active diamond mines in India, and the famous Kohinoor diamond was found in the 13th century. The 793-carat stone went from person to person and was eventually acquired by Queen Victoria during the British Raj in India. Number 4. Elephants in Kerala can treat themselves to a spa day. Punathur Kata Elephant Yard Rejuvenation Center provides elephants with baths, massages, and soothing pamper sessions. The spa caters to 59 clients and is a way of giving back to the sacred animal. Elephants play an important role in Kerala's temple processions and are a significant feature of the region, so they deserve a massage every now and then. Yeah, they deserve. Or Number 5. The largest religious gathering in India can be seen from space. Kumbh Mela is a Hindu pilgrimage which takes people to the banks of the Ganges every 12 years. The major event involves ritualistic bathing, devotional singing, religious discussion, and feeding the poor. The attendance figures had to be capped at 75 million, making it the largest pilgrimage on earth. Number 6. Ancient Indian civilization is the oldest in the world. We often look to ancient Greece and ancient Egypt, but Indian civilization dates back to 2400 BC, when it was split into 16 monarchies known as the Mahajanapadas. There are even authenticated human remains that date back to 30,000 years in South Asia. The oldest Hindu texts were written between 2000 and 500 BC, as well as the first texts on science, medicine, and astronomy. We actually owe the number 0 to Indian mathematics, who created the concept. Number 7.
तब
India is
बाद
home
में
to
बताऊंगा।
every major world religion and doesn't have a national language. Hinduism,
ये तो मैंने अभी
Christianity,
बताया भी है
Buddhism,
वीडियो के
Islam,
स्टार्ट में।
and Sikhism all have a place in Indian society, with the most dominant being Hinduism and Islam, covering 80% and 14% of the population, respectively. Judaism has existed in India for the last 2,215 years, and some of these smaller religions also featured, including Jain, Zoroastrian, and Baha'i. India also doesn't have a single national language because 1,652 dialects are spoken across the different regions. Number 8. A polling station is set up for just one voter in Gir Forest at every election. Every election,
Interesting.
Barandas Dashandas gets his local polling station entirely to himself because he's the only resident of Gir Forest. He's been voting in Indian elections since 2004 and never misses one now that he has his own personal polling station.
वाह,
Mahal is the caretaker for the one temple in the forest in
एक बंदे का
Gujarat,
भी वोट
a
काउंट
home he
होता है।
shares with the rare Asiatic lion.
Nice.
Number 9. The Indian government has used scaffolding to hide the Taj Mahal when airstrikes are predicted. During the Second World War and the Indian-Pakistan Wars, scaffolding was put up around the distinctive domes of the Taj Mahal to make it less obvious from above. They feared strikes by the Japanese Air Force during World War II, so hid their most famous landmark. More recent threats to the Taj Mahal include the rising levels of the Yamuna River, which has cracked
मैं
the tomb
जाना चाहता हूँ
underneath the
कभी
structure.
ताजमहल।
There have been predictions that the tombs could
मैं
collapse
तो
at
इंडिया
any
घूमना
time.
चाहता हूँ लेकिन
Check
कभी
out our
इंशाल्लाह।
video 15 most expensive man-made attractions in the world to find out what ranks along the stunning Taj Mahal. Number 10. Indians invented navigation, yoga,
अच्छा?
the world's cheapest car, and thorium-based nuclear power. Indian society can take credit for some of the most important inventions in the world. They were the first to create the concept of navigation, over 6,000 years ago, using rivers and seas. Yoga was created 5,000 years ago and has roots in Hinduism, Buddhism, and Jainism. The world's cheapest car, the Tata Nano, which costs around 100,000 rupees, the equivalent of $1,400, and India
Wow.
is the home of the first next-generation thorium reactor. The country is aiming to produce 30% of its electrical power with thorium by 2050.
15 तो कब
Number
खुद गया
11.
फैक्ट बहुत
You can
पुराने
stay
हैं।
at the former Indian royal residence for $88,000 a
50
night.
बोला।
If you want to stay at the lap of luxury, forget Paris and forget Dubai. India is the home of the most stunning palaces in the world. Once the home of the Maharajas, there are opulent palaces throughout the country, with some dating back hundreds of years. The Kumarakam Lake Resort hosted Prince Charles's 65th birthday, and the 450-year-old Samod Palace in
$88,000
Jaipur
भी तो कम
has
नहीं
hosted
होते।
famous faces from all over the world. Number 12. King Jai Singh of Alwar snubbed Rolls-Royce in the best possible way. India has a long and colorful history of quirky monarchies and extravagant kings and queens. The King of Alwar in northeast India was insulted by a Rolls-Royce salesman when he visited a showroom in London. A very proud man, he ordered a whole fleet of Rolls-Royce cars and gave them to the city's waste department so they could use them to transport rubbish throughout the city.
क्या बात है?
Number 13. 1 million Indians are millionaires. India has one of the most dramatic wealth gaps in the world, with 35% of the country living below the poverty line. Those who live way above it live a very different kind of life. The richest Indian in the world is Mukesh Ambani, who has a net worth of $53 billion. The 59-year-old made his money in the oil and gas industry, and his billion-dollar home recently made headlines because he chose to build a 27-story skyscraper instead of a sprawling mansion. Number 14. The first account of plastic surgery was found in an ancient Sanskrit text. One of the first medical texts was the Sushruta Samhita, which can be dated back to the 6th century CE. It's one of the very first examples of a medical text and discusses surgery, incisions, skin grafts, and nose reconstruction. Britain's first nose job wouldn't be performed until 1814, a worrying 80 years before the Sushruta Samhita would be translated. Number 15. One of India's most extravagant weddings caused controversy because it was too extravagant. Lasting 5 days and costing $74 million, the wedding of the daughter of a prominent businessman made headlines in 2016 for all the wrong reasons. The $2.5 million wedding sari, Bollywood royalty in attendance, and gold Bangalore palace setting was denounced as an obscene display of wealth. Millions of Indians live in poverty, so the wedding was criticized for being in poor taste.
क्रिटिसाइज करना बनता था यार.
There are many stereotypical images of India, but there's so much more to this incredible country than many of us know. The center of many industries and the world's biggest democracy, India has influenced art, literature, science, and medicine potentially more than any other nation. If you could take a trip to this beautiful, fascinating country, where would you find yourself? In a gorgeous Maharaja's palace, surrounded by palm trees and rural countryside, or a modern apartment in the thick of busy Mumbai?
Both. मैं पूरा इंडिया घूमना चाहता हूँ यार. So दोनों चीजें मैं एंजॉय करना चाहूँगा. खत्म. Yeah, I guess
Oh, you're
so.
still here? Here's another bizarre and incredible fact about India. About 40% of the Indian population is vegetarian, making it the largest veggie population in the world. Many choose to not eat meat for spiritual and religious reasons, with beef and pork products often ruled out of their diet. Vegetarianism is so influential that KFC, McDonald's, and Pizza Hut had to introduce vegetarian menus for their Indian franchises to cater to the population. The country with the fewest vegetarians is Portugal, where just 1.8% of the population have cut meat from their diet.
ये फैक्ट मुझे मालूम है.
Thank you for spending some time with us, Alok sir. Make sure to subscribe so you never miss a video.
Make sure to subscribe और यूजरनेम नजर आ रहा है तो
or head
उसको
over
भी
to alox.com for the best
follow
and fun
करें.
living content.
यूजरनेम नजर आ रहा है आपको इंस्टाग्राम को, उसको भी फॉलो करें. और वीडियो बड़ा इंटरेस्टिंग था, बहुत सारे फैक्ट्स अननोन थे. सबसे अमेजिंग फैक्ट ये था कि एक जो बाबा जी जंगल में रहते थे, सिर्फ उनके लिए, उनके एक वोट के लिए एक अलग पोलिंग स्टेशन है इंडिया में, और वो हर 5 साल बाद जब भी इलेक्शन होते हैं वो वोट कास्ट करने आते हैं अपना. सो दिस इज़ इनक्रेडिबल फैक्ट. और एक वोट की वैल्यू आप यहाँ से अंदाज़ा लगा सकते हैं. उसके अलावा कुछ फैक्ट्स मुझे ऑलरेडी पता थे, और कुछ फैक्ट्स जो हैं वो काफ़ी पुराने हैं. तो मतलब अगर हम बात करें 100 साल पहले के जितने भी फैक्ट्स हैं, तब तो इंडिया पाकिस्तान इंडिया ही कहलाते थे, एक ही मुल्क कहलाता था. तो उसमें जो कुछ हिस्ट्रीज हैं वो मैच करती हैं. इंडिया पाकिस्तान ऑलमोस्ट सिमिलर है. एक रिलीजियस बेस पे हम एक दूसरे से लड़ते हैं, बाकी बहुत सारी चीज़ें हम सब में कॉमन है. एक जैसे इंसान है, ऑलमोस्ट सब सिमिलर है. सो अगर आपको रिएक्शन अच्छा लगा हो तो प्लीज़ आप मुझे कोई और रिएक्शन के लिए सजेस्ट कर दें. मैं इस टाइम बोर होता हूँ तो मैं वो बोरियत दूर करने के लिए ये काम करता हूँ. मुझे बड़ा अच्छा लगता है इंडिया के बारे में जान के. और भी बहुत सारी वीडियोज़ हैं जो आप देख सकते हैं मेरे चैनल पे. और सब्सक्राइब करें, मुझे कमेंट्स में बताएं कि मैं आगे किस पर रिएक्ट करूँ. और दोस्ती करते हैं यार. चैनल सब्सक्राइब कर लें. मिलते हैं किसी अगली वीडियो के साथ. तब तक के लिए अल्लाह निगहबान.